Hi everyone, welcome back to the Puttering Penman. Today I'm going to be reviewing the Pilot Falcon with the soft fine nib. So this is a pen I purchased in 2022, so I've had it for 2 years now. I purchased it from Atlas Stationers for around $200. I think it was just a little bit less than 200, like maybe 195, something like that. I initially used this pen for a bit and then I didn't really connect with it, so then I cleaned it out, put it away for a while. But about a month ago, I inked it up again, and now I really love this pen. And I will talk a little bit about why I changed my mind on it after the writing sample. But just as a spoiler, this is a pen I really like. So it came in this packaging. Got the Pilot logo, says, some stuff about what the pen is. Pull it out. Comes in this box. The pen was sitting in here. Get a little use and care guide. You did get a black cartridge with it. I don't believe a converter came with it, although I'm not entirely sure. I could be wrong about that. So here's the pen. This particular model is the black and gold that in the resin. They also sell a metal Falcon. One thing to note is that the metal bodied Falcon is a little bit longer and will take a Con 70 converter. The resin body version does not fit a Con 70 converter. So you either have to use like a Con 40 if you have like the Con 50 or like Con B style converters. So you'll have to use one of those smaller converters or use Pilot cartridges. This is a screw cap. It unscrews in 2 turns, which is more than many of Pilot's higher end pens, which typically take 1.5 turns. I do find that just a little bit annoying because that 1.5 I can do in 2 rotations. 2 turns takes about 3 rotations of my hand, so that is a little bit annoying for me. But unscrewing the cap, that reveals this beautiful gold nib. There is not a lot of detail, like scroll work or anything like that on the nib, but it does say, it's 14 karat gold, Pilot, soft fine nib. There's some stamping here in the bottom left that I can't quite read. And then over on the bottom right, it says the date for when the nib was made. Of course, it is a unique shape that gives the nib some softness and some spring back. You can unscrew the body. And I have a Pilot blue ink cartridge in here, but it's just a regular Pilot cartridge converter style body. The section is plastic as well. Nice, gold trim here. It is a very comfortable pen to hold. The pen does post, and it posts securely, but I do find that it takes just a little extra push to get the pen to post securely. Not that big of a deal, but like I've gotten used to from a lot of the other pens I use, just like not pushing quite as hard as I need to with this pen in order to post it securely. Just quickly, the cap here has a little bit different scroll work than a lot of other, so like say like Pilot Custom 74, Pilot Custom 743, they tend to say like, Pilot Custom Japan around here. This pen has like, instead it has the scroll work, and then at the very back it just says Pilot Japan. So it doesn't say anything about like Pilot Falcon, and the bottom side is just black plastic. One thing I want to note is that the plastic on this pen feels very high quality. Sometimes you will get plastic pens, like obviously at the lower end, like the preppy plastic doesn't feel particularly high quality. But, and even on some higher end pens, the plastic may not feel quite as high quality as you'd expect. This plastic, for some reason to me, feels very durable. It feels thick. This is a light pen. I'll put the exact weight on the screen here, but the plastic still feels extremely durable and heavier than usual. I have no issues thinking that this pen is going to last for a very long time. It even feels a little bit more durable than the plastic on my Pilot Custom 823 and my Pilot Custom 743. I don't know if that's actually the case, but it does feel like more solid and sturdy than those plastics. Part of that might just be that the threads on this pen are extremely smooth. And then also just, I don't know, it might also be something about the balance. Or maybe the plastic really is just thicker on this pen than it is on those. One other thing I want to note is that the clip on this pen, it's a bit different than the typical design of like on the Pilot Custom pens where they have a ball at the end. Let me just get one of those pens because I'm referring to them so much. Okay, I brought the Pilot Custom 823 back. So this is like the ball I was referring to. Yeah, it's a different clip design. I think it's a little bit more modern looking. Looks nice. So this clip works extremely well. Let me just clip it to the back of this notepad. So it clips on extremely securely. It doesn't fall off, clips off very easily. So I have found it very easy to use the clip on this pen, and it slips on very well into like pants pockets and things like that. Also to note, I find this pen comfortable to use both posted and unposted because the cap is so light and the pen is well balanced. And the paper is a Rhodia A5 notepad. So this pen, the nib on it is the best fine nib I have used. It does have a little bit more feedback than other Pilot fine nibs. I have both, I have a vanishing point in fine. I also have plenty of like Kakunos and Pereiras and fine nibs, which are steel nib pens. This pen is a little bit drier than both the Pilot steel fine nibs and the Pilot gold fine nibs. I think that's probably more to do with it could be that the feed, because the feed does look a bit different. It might also be the shape of the nib, but it is a little bit finer. It is a little bit drier. It's not finer, but it is drier. And this pen has a little bit more feedback on the paper than those pens. Not a lot, but just a little. And I actually really like it. I think it gives me a lot of control when I write. And so that's one of the reasons why I like this pen now. When I initially picked it up, I was more used to Pilot medium nibs, but over time, I had been writing a lot with my Pilot Kakunos. I have a review on that pen as well, another pen I really like. And I'd been doing my handwriting practice with that. And as I got more and more used to using fine nibs, my handwriting got better with fine nibs. And so now, when I first bought this pen, I wasn't quite ready to see my handwriting in this fine of a nib size. Well, now I am, and now that I've inked it up again, I think that having that little bit of extra feedback and a nib this fine and this high quality of a pen is a really enjoyable writing experience. Another reason why I initially didn't love this pen is because I kind of bought it expecting the nib to be softer than it really is. So a lot of people will tell you this is a flex nib. It is definitely not a flex nib. Pilot advertises it as soft. It is listed as a SF nib, a soft fine nib. And it is fairly soft. You can get some bounce to it, but I would not feel comfortable pushing it anything beyond that right there. So you get a little bit of bounce. It's soft, but I would not push this pen, and I kind of expect it to be softer than it is. And at the time, I was sort of at the tail end of my journey, of like my very long journey, which I discussed in my 10 years in fountain pens video. A very long journey where I was looking for a good flex nib fountain pen that would sort of be like a vintage pen or act like these steel dip pen nibs. And, you know, to be clear, when you see someone like the Open Inkstand channel, you know, Shinlong, who's a amazing calligrapher, write with a Pilot Falcon and do like really good Spencerian or, you know, copperplate with that pen, the pen she's using has a specific Spencerian grind on it. I believe hers was done by John Madishaw. So, you know, that is not a stock Falcon. And so, you know, if you're hoping to write, this is something I wrote, I don't know, maybe a little while ago, with a dip pen. If you're expecting to write this with a Pilot Falcon, you're not going to be able to. It's just not going to happen unless you get a very skilled nibmeister to make a very special grind for you. So, you know, we need some realistic expectations. Like 10 years ago, before Pilot started bringing in the FA nibs and before, you know, other flex nibs like the Magna Cartas existed and things like that, this was kind of what people hoped could be a modern flex nib pen. It is not. It's soft, but it's also like not as soft as vintage fountain pens either. But what this pen is a wonderful gold nib fountain pen that writes really well. So, you know, I have no problems with the price of this pen for being a wonderful modern fountain pen. That's it, even if it's just a regular writer. And so now that I've picked it up again and I write with fine nibs, this is an absolute joy to have in my collection and one that will be inked up very often in my collection. So with that, please let me know if you have any questions in the comment section below. I will do my best to answer, and I will see you next time. Thank you. Bye.